What's going on, everybody? It is time to talk about this week's top indie comic picks for New Comic Book Day. That's right, we got a top 10 for you, and one thing in addition to that, let's talk about that first thing coming up here first, and that is the second printing for Something is Killing the Children number 25. There hasn't been a second printing of Something is Killing the Children in a while, so that is why I have this one on my list. I think one, that you just haven't had one in a while, and two, this cover is fucking sad. That's how I gotta say it. The events of issue 25 were a little upsetting, a little sad. What happened in that, and this cover very much represents that. So I appreciate what they're doing with this cover, and so that's why I have this on my list. It's not in the top 10 because the issue itself has already come out, but this new cover I think is pretty cool. So let's get into the top 10. First up, from Sumerian Comics, we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance issue number 2 from Brett Murphy and Wilson Gandolfo, the incredible team that brought us Paranormal Hitman. We've got, on the cover A, Nico Walter doing the artwork. I think a lot of the cover A's come from the game itself, and the art team behind that. But, yeah, issue 1, fantastic. If you aren't a fan of the game, never heard of it, never played it, you're still going to be able to appreciate this story because I have not played the game. So, there we go. I started playing it. I made it a couple minutes in, and I have not had time to go back and play it. So I don't really know who these characters are other than what I'm learning about from the comic, and I really am enjoying it. The ruthless bandit Runt continues to shed fear upon Bohemia in the name of King Sigismund. Meanwhile, King Sigismund has discovered there is a traitor amongst his loyalists. Find out who dares defy King Sigismund in this action-packed second issue of Kingdom Come Deliverance, Death Among Us. Going to number 9, we're going to Dark Horse Comics for The Ward, issue number 4 from Scott Cavan and Andres Ponce. I love this supernatural doctor drama, essentially, is what we got going on. It's like supernatural Grey's Anatomy a little bit. Supernatural epidemic is sweeping the city of Kirtan, sparing no one, human or not. The screams of the infected wail through St. Louis with no cure in sight. Patients are spilling into the hallways and being turned away. Dr. Nat Reeves is doing all she can, but she's just one person. Saving the city may require drastic measures. Yeah, we can see the pressure that the hospital has been on, especially in the last issue. Things are kind of reaching a breaking point. And this is the final issue of the series. So we'll see how things come together, how they solve this issue, and I hope there's a volume 2 because I feel like 4 issues is not enough to tell everything that I want to see from this world. So hopefully Scott Cavan and Andres Ponce have plans for a second volume, but if not, I have really enjoyed where this series has been going. Coming in for my number 8 pick this week is one from a Wave Blue World, and it is Mezzo Battle at Coben Rock, issue number 5 from Tyler Chin Tanner and Val Rodriguez, with colors by Gab Contreras, and Val doing the cover here. So I have not read 1 through 4 of this. I put this on here because I have read the volume 1 now. I bought it in a recent Wave Blue World Whatnot sale, and it's fantastic. I bought 1 through 4 as well, and recently I bought something else from a Wave Blue World, and they threw in issue 5, which comes out this week, and I have it already. And I haven't gotten to read all of those issues, but I absolutely loved volume 1. It was just like taking inspiration from the cultures of Central and South America back a long time ago, like the Incan culture, Aztec culture, and putting it into this fantasy world where there's so much going on in different tribal alliances and dramas and things like that, all then thrown into this war story, conquering empire story. There are so many cool elements to this, and I really love the storytelling that occurs in this. So it made it to my list and made it up the list a little bit because I haven't read 1 through 4, but I believe that once I do, I'm going to be super happy, and I'll let you guys know. I'll hopefully be able to work on a full review for Mezzo at some point because Volume 1 was fantastic. So go check this one out if you haven't. Hit up A Wave Blue World on their website. Get the first volume trade paperback. Check out this story. It is super cool. Coming in for number 7, we're going to go over to Boom Studios. We're going to hit up Basilisk for issue number 11 from Colin Bunn and Jonas Scharf. Deep in the earth, the 5 witness something truly awful that they'll never forget. Something connected to their equally fearsome abilities. In the present, Hannah is brought to the commune, while Vanessa's madness and bloodlust take on a whole new level, threatening everyone around her. I have loved this series from the start. And we're on to issue 11. 12 should be the end of this arc. Maybe the end of the story too. So we'll see. But if they do continue the story after 12, there'll be a break before we hit the 4th arc. Coming for number 6 this week, we're going to another series that is ending this week, and that is Twig issue number 5. It is the miniseries finale from Scotty Young and Kyle Strahm. The conclusion of the dark fantasy adventure series from Eisner Award-winning writer Scotty Young and artist Kyle Strahm brings Twig and Splat to the end of their quest. But will they acquire the final piece of the recipe they need to save the world, or will they die trying? So I've loved this little creation of Scotty and Kyle here. Twig is fantastic. Splat is even more humorous and in combination with Twig, and I love this world. It's such a cool little world that they've built. And for me, I would love to see other stories in this world. But I also understand that this could wrap up here pretty nicely if they've told the tale that they want to. But I love when creators build up a very interesting world. And that makes me want to look at that world more and explore it and see different stories that, what's going on over in this corner of the world that maybe we don't get to see and get to explore in Twig's story. So that's how I see that kind of thing. But intriguing worlds always get me more involved into that story and what's happening. So Twig number 5, number 6 pick this week. Coming in for number 5 this week, we've got a new one from Colin Bunn. This one is Shock Shop, issue number 4. We've got Colin Bunn, Danny Luckert, and Layla Leese presenting a brand new horror anthology flip comic taking place in a haunted comic shop with a twisted retailer filled with tales of terror, sure to leave you with the lights on. In one of the stories, Familiars, after a painful divorce, Trevor rents a house and tries to rebuild his life. Soon he discovers that his life appears to be haunted by more than one spirit, and the creatures begin feeding on Trevor's feelings of anger and guilt. In Something in the Woods, in the Dark, a husband and wife going through a tough time go on a camping trip with a few friends. As they trek further into the forest, they realize that they are being stalked. Something in the woods starts killing the camper, and it may have ties to the campers more than any of them realize. Super cool. I love a good horror anthology, and who better to write it than Colin Bunn? Danny Luckert's art is going to be fantastic. Layla Lee's art is always fantastic, so I can't wait to check this one out this week. That is my number 5 pick. Number 4 this week is a new one from Image Comics, but it's not quite new. It's picking up where Frontiersman left off, and that is Antioch number 1. All new ongoing series. A king from a lost continent enters the world of man with a purpose to stop us from killing the planet. But when he finds himself in a superhuman prison, his title is useless and his powers only matter if they help him survive. So Patrick Kindle, Marco Ferrari reuniting to tell Antioch, but it is picking up from where Frontiersman left off. So this will be interesting to see what we got going on. We had some hints at the end of Frontiersman of what could come next, and can't wait for it. Number 4 this week comes to us from Aftershock Comics, and that is The Vineyard, number 2, from Brian Hawkins and Sammy Cavella. The Vines family finds their second victim and sacrifice. Adonis dives deeper into his devotion to Dionysus, to his father's delight. Meanwhile, Sophia returns home to save her mother, but Marantha isn't willing to give up on family just yet. Issue number 1 of The Vineyard was fantastic. This whole idea that the vineyard is so good and profitable, and the wine is fantastic because the family makes sacrifices to Dionysus is just super cool. And it kind of, it makes sense. Interestingly, we've got multiple Dionysus stories going on right now, and cult of Dionysus type stories. But I like this. I like that they're two different takes on Dionysus, and Brian Hawkins, amazing writer. We're gonna be talking with him on the channel very soon, so be on the lookout for that coming up. And I love where this story is starting, and I can't wait to see what happens next with these sacrifices, who they end up getting for the sacrifices, and how will the new generation of the family deal with that. Next up on the list, number 2, we've got The Dead Lucky number 2 from Melissa Flores and French Carlo Magno. The debut of San Francisco's newest electric superhero rubs plenty the wrong way, and BB struggles to find common ground in her relationships with both the living and the dead. As the Salvation Gang beefs up their army, Morrow takes a quieter approach to unmasking the vigilante. So issue 1 of this was fantastic, and talking with Melissa Flores, we got to really explore how she created this story, and the inspiration for some of the characteristics behind Bibi, and how this really fits into the world of the Massiverse, but yet is its own thing. The Dead Lucky is really its own separate story in the Massiverse, but when they have these kind of events that bring everybody together, then the Dead Lucky story will kind of tie into that in a way. But it's one of those things that they wanted to create where you could read one of the stories of the Massiverse and not read the rest, or you can read all of them and dive into the entire lore of the world. And I think that's awesome. So Dead Lucky number 2, pick it up. Pick up issue 1 if you haven't already. It is my number 2 pick. Coming in for number 1, it is The Return of e-ratic from AWA Upshot. e-ratic Recharged number 1 from Kari Andros. Recharge complete. The teenage hero with superpowers that only work for 10 minutes a day is back to save the world again as he navigates even more pressing perils. Young love bullies a broken family in the gauntlet that is high school. This time, young Oliver Leaf is teamed with a barbarian princess who claims to be from another dimension. Spinning from the pages of the Resistance, e-ratic combines electric action, teen drama, and pure comics fun, which is what I loved about the first volume. It was Kari Andrews, Brian Reber were doing an amazing job with the story, and it looked like they were just having fun with it. And that's what I love about comics, is seeing the fun come out in the creative process. I can tell when they're having fun. And those are the books I read. Those are the books I love to talk about. That whole list we got up here, these 10 comics, all the stories, to me, I feel the fun coming from it. Even if it's a serious story, even if it's a horrifying story, the creative team looks like they are having fun creating the story. And so that's where I end up really looking and really picking up books to read. So e-ratic is back, number 1 pick this week, and that is the top 10. Thank you guys for watching. As always, collect what you love. See you next time.